FASHI, what is true Buddhism?
True Buddhism is to respect the Buddha Dharma, the teachings of Buddha, what we call in Buddhism Buddha Vachana, the word of Buddha. According to Buddhism, a person is known to be Buddhist after he takes refuge in the triple gem. That means that the Buddha, the Master, the Blessed One, the teachings, the Dharma, and the congregation, the Sangha. So when a person takes refuge in triple gem, that means the triple gem is the only refuge. If a person, let's say, practices different paths besides Buddhism, then he cannot be recognized as a true Buddhist, because Buddhism is really a science of mind. That means you work with the mind. You analyze yourself. So a true Buddhist, besides and primarily after taking refuge in triple gem, he should study the sutras. For instance, those who have chosen the Theravada vehicle, then they study what they call it, the Tipitaka, the three baskets of the law. That were the early teachings of Buddha, which he taught to the Shravakas. And so they were also considered those of lower capacity, because they needed a physical master, so the master could teach them only verbal. They could not transcend the physical master, so they keep the Tipitaka. They have the sutras, and if they are monks, then they have the Vinaya. The Vinaya, by the way, is very similar to the Mahayana also. Both Vinayas, they are very similar, with only minor divergences. They call them the sutra, they are called the Nikayas. There are long discourses of Buddha, Digha Nikaya, middle discourses, the Majjhima Nikaya, etc. And also the Abhidharma, the highest teachings of Buddha. So their way is to reach perfection, what they call it. So they reach the stage what's called the Arahat. And by conquering their passions, their lower passions, called kleshas. So that's, and they keep them, they implement them. It should be said that they are very strict in their conduct. I've met them, I have many friends, and they're very, that's the way. They don't mess about. Now those who have chosen the Mahayana path, so those who have chosen the Mahayana path, we belong to the Mahayana, the Mahayana Sutras. So the Mahayana Sutras they are, according to Mahayana, they are the highest teachings of Buddha, the essence. If we talk about the Heart Sutra, if we talk about the Diamond Sutra, Shurangama Sutra, Lankavatara Sutra, Lotus Sutra, etc. These, Avatamsaka Sutra, these are the highest teachings of Buddha. But of course, there are ignorant people, also in Buddhism, that they think this sutra is the real teachings of Buddha. The others, they are inferior. So we should not make all these differences. Because at the end we end up that we don't implement the teachings of Buddha. We add something of our own. And there is also ignorance sometimes, in the sense that there are what called self-styled masters, and they don't keep really the precepts of Buddhism. So, especially in the West, what happens is that the disciple imitates the master. If that master likes meat and he doesn't bother to keep the precepts which Buddha said not to eat meat, which is written, Buddha requested it in the sutras, like in the Shurangama Sutra, in the Lankavatara Sutra, etc., in different sutras. So automatically the disciple said, if my master eats meat, so I eat meat. We see it a lot with the Tibetan Buddhism. And every time I talk about vegetarianism, although I don't add a iota from my own, I say what Buddha said. And I show the people, here is written, there is written. Still they said to me, but the Dalai Lama eats meat. And I say to them, I implement what Buddha said. My master is the Buddha. Why we are called Buddhists? Because we are disciples of Buddha. We should not imitate those who don't keep the precepts. We should imitate those who keep, even though they are not popular, like Dalai Lama. If that master lives and teaches in accord with the sutras, that's the master you should follow, because you can verify by yourself. So a person who keeps the precept, studies and keeps the precepts of the sutras, has knowledge of the sutras, and he lives in accord with the sutras, that can be called the true Buddhism. If a person says, I keep only this sutra, there is, for instance, the Nichiren sect. They go according to the Lotus Sutra. So if I speak about vegetarianism, they don't know, because it's not written in the Lotus Sutra. It's written in other sutras. So the best thing is, if you are a Mahayanist, first of all, as Mahayanists, we believe also in the sutras, in the early sutras. We believe in all the sutras, without exception. That means we accept all the teachings of Buddha. And those who accept and implement all the teachings of Buddha, they are true Buddhists. I think I have nothing more to add. May Buddha bless you. Namo Amitofo.